So, I want to make this video, and I want to play a game with you guys. You cool with that? So, we're going to call this game, Why the Hell Are We Trying to Separate Sexuality with Gender in the LGBTQIA Community? Let's play. Hi, if you haven't noticed, hey guys, it's Mine, and I'm a game master, and we're going to play. I'm going to throw some facts at y'all. For some of y'all idiot people that can't think, okay? Let's play. So first, what is sexuality? Sexuality is when you're attracted to one gender, okay? Let's say you're a man or a woman and you're attracted to the same sex. For men, it's called gay. For women, it's called being a lesbian, okay? Let's say you find both genders attractive. You're bisexual, okay? Now, so far, you're like, okay, that should be it. Cut it. Cut the video. No. Because there's another sexuality, too, that have been very much forgotten over the years. And that is queer. Now, if you're an old but a goodie, vintage, queer person, you're like, oh my god, that's offensive. No, it's not. Maybe in your time in the 50s, it was offensive and a slur, but now, as the new generation came, it is now used for people who are questioning their sexuality. So they come out as queer. The most forgotten sexuality is asexual and aromantic. Asexual is basically you're not really like that. You don't find what normal couples find romantic. You love a certain way. You find things a different way. It's hard for me to explain it because I'm a gay person and I'm not aromantic. So I will link sources and articles about aromantic for you guys because this video is going on YouTube also. So I'll have those in the description so you guys can read them. So that's part of sexuality. Now let's get into something that y'all really freak out. It's something that makes me really question y'all's brain because y'all say, oh, we're better than a... And yet, there are Republican gay people on this app and in the world who think they're better than every gay person because they're thinking real. They're realistic. They're not following the gender ideology. How can you be gay and be transphobic at the same time? That goes against your own fucking community. Alright, so now we're gonna talk about the T in the community, which is trans. And y'all acting like I summoned the damn devil. Y'all probably freaking out, clutching y'all's pearls. But trans is when you transition from one gender to the other. Okay? Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Number one, no. Minors are not having bottom surgery. And it's usually hair color, changing hairstyles, clothing, names. Number two, tons of therapy and doctor visits to figure out, are you are you mentally ready for it? Are you mentally ready for the challenge? And usually when you're, usually around the age of 18 or tiny bit getting up there, you start on hormone blockers. They usually start you there, and then the more you use them, the more better it gets, and until you're ready for bottom surgery. Well, that is your choice. Okay, so you guys have an idea of what trans is, right? Let's go into another gender thing. Okay. The next thing is intersex. And I tell you not, trans, intersex go hand to hand. Because usually if you're intersex, you become trans. Just common sense. Now, people are like, don't know what intersex is, or they do, they just forget about it. Because they're like, yes, intersex is a it's not rare, but it's a small percentage of people. And cases of newborns, where they're born with both body parts, male and female. Okay? Now, usually, if it's an infant, it's usually the parent's choice. Okay? You know, it's usually the parent or the mother, usually mother and father, but usually the mother, and they decide what gender they want the kid to be, and they'll, snip, 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 they'll fix, booyaka shot, your kid's that gender. Most of the time, they grow up intersex with no changes to their bodies until their parents usually sometimes let their kids choose when they're roughly much older, sometimes 18, sometimes a tiny bit younger, just depending on the kid and the parent and their family and how they set rules. See what I'm getting at? It's kid and the parent decide. Their household, their rules. Not stupid strangers on the internet telling people how to change their gender. And no, it's not child abuse, because the intersex people are already trans. They just choose which gender they want, and with a few cuts in one surgery and a long road of healing, boom. Usually, intersex people choose which ones. Sometimes they stay the way they are, which is even more amazing. And they don't, change, Okay, so here is sort of, everything from, basically this tells you literally everything you need to know about today's topic, okay? And before you freak out, which I know you're gonna do, the game is almost over. But I'm gonna change the rules up a little bit while we're playing this game. Also, if you are a conservative Republican or a really crazy Christian person, listen to this part of the video. You may think you are just spreading God's word around the world, but in reality, you're hurting others, which is also a sin. So in return of what you're doing, you're hurting others by abusing religion. And the last time I checked, trans people are not your enemy. And also, as someone who's gay, a gay dude, it is so hard to watch my community get bashed and then being called predators when we're not that. Just because we want to have have kids of our own doesn't mean we're groomers. That's not how it works. Trans people are not, predators, and they're not PDFs. They're not that. No, they're not that. I don't understand why people think that. And also, gender affirming care for minors, they're literally just getting haircuts, clothing style changes, name changes, therapy, mental evaluations, because down the road it's going to be hard mentally for these kids. And they don't need outside opinions affecting their choices on what they want. You know what I mean? And it's not child abuse, and it's not a parent's abusing no. Just because you were hurt as a kid does not mean you have to go at them. That's not fair. So, we have reached the end of the game, and I want comment below what y'all have learned from this little game, because I know I'm about to get a lot of conservatives, Republicans freaking out. But that's the name of the game, right? So thank you guys so much for playing. I hope you guys want to play a different little game with me while I roast stupid people without doing their own research on things, because they think they know everything. Funny that. Until next time, bye guys.